Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Worlds 2020 here at LOL Park. It's not the first time, of course, we did play-ins here a couple of years ago. It's so great to be here. LS, welcome, my friend. We're already most of the way into draft, by the way, guys, so just a bit of technical stuff that we have to deal with the fact that we are a few oceans away. But we'll get into that in a moment. LS, how you been doing, man? Are you already excited by what's happened here in the draft?
Oh, I'm extremely excited. We got Electric Bear and we got B1 Renekton coming out by JDG. And what an opening to come back to. It's been 4 years since I've been back at Worlds.
And actually, I think I was casting with you.
Yes.
2017 over in LA. That was a great time. And now we get to do it again, finally, reunited here on this desk. But let's just catch you back up real quick, guys. It is going to be the Aurelia, Akali, and Shen bans. Don't like ninjas very much. Onto the side of JDG, and that's going to be answered by the TF, the Lucian, and the Camille being taken off the board. Camille makes a lot of sense. Zoom is an absolute beast. And the Lilia is going to be locked in. And I was going to say that for a Worlds broadcast, for the very first game, if that was a Graves lock-in, I'd be but thankfully, we've saved it with a Lilia.
Lilia is going to be here, so this is going to mean it's going to be the Volibear in top lane with the Nidalee, and so that's going to be an interesting dynamic against the Renekton and the Lilia. Zoe coming in blind. Larson was hovering Echo for a little bit, but now they're going to pivot over to Ashe. And I feel like if Rogue are going to stand a chance in today's matchup, Inspired's going to have a better performance than he did earlier on, and Larson is going to need to show up big for Rogue here today.
I think it's really, really scary, especially considering what he's looking at over the other side of the Rift. Kanavi does almost the most damage on his team, even in just the games that we've seen here at Worlds, but we've seen it be even more prevalent over in the LPL, and he's back on Lilia again, a champion that he has been able to do a fair bit of work with already. So the Ashe locked in. We're going to save that mid pick for Larson for a little bit later. Looking to the bans here, and I do want to talk about that sort of mid-jungle discussion that's been very, very talked about all Worlds long. And we do have that double AP mid-jungle coming out of JDG, so we'll see whether it is just going to be a bit more topside focused, trying to set up for the Lilia.
Yeah, well, we see the Syndra is being banned away, so they're giving some credit over to Larson. And we'll see if Rogue wants to continue to actually pinch away Marksman down there in the bottom lane to get a better matchup for Hansama on the Ashe. And I'm very curious to see how Finn is going to perform here against Zoom today, as I feel like that could also be a pretty big indicator of how Rogue will fare later on in their group stage matches.
That's real rough, though, because Zoom is an extraordinarily talented top laner and has proved it time and time again. Unfortunately, not able to against Noggery, but we saw the things that he's been capable of, and I think that they're Dunwon's a bit of a weird team. They just seem to be doing too much winning as Hansama hovering the Brad for Vander, but no, Set is going to be a consideration here.
Ooh, Alistar.
I feel like Alistar blind is so dangerous into an LPL team, but it is going to be the Azir taken away. So Emperor of Shurima for Larson, setting up for a bit more of a team fight based composition here with Poke mixed in. With the Ashe and the Nidalee.
And the Azir worries me a little bit because even though it's going to be a very good champion for Larson, this is suggesting Rogue are going to try to go the distance against JDG. And that is definitely some moxie coming out of them here inside of the draft phase. Caitlyn Lux now.
Oh, God.
Going to be the hover for JDG.
And that's a complete opposite of what you were talking about. You're talking about going the distance. Let's scale it up, guys. No rush 20. Let's see what we can do with some late game team fights. And JDG, they want to go home before then. Yeah. That's their plan. As the Caitlyn and the Bard are going to be locked in. We get Lumau's Bard on our first Worlds broadcast. Thank you very much, JDG. That feels like a fantastic thank you present. That's just absolutely brilliant. Looking forward to it. It's Vander, an old favorite here in the Blitzcrank. And this is going to be an interesting lane, one could say. This
is going to be very interesting with the Blitzcrank because that's the curveball that is going to have a lot of potency throughout the entirety of this game. Even in the late game standoffs, if it reaches that point, Blitzcrank is always a curveball that can always just turn something on a dime. And Rogue, they definitely have a lot of scaling in their team composition. The scary thing is the Caitlyn on the enemy team if she ends up going the distance. And so JDG, they just have so much autonomy early on with this draft setup that I'm really curious to see how Rogue's going to try to juggle it, because even super late game, I don't think favors Rogue.
Yeah, I think it's actually really scary because, like you were saying, it doesn't necessarily favor them because Caitlyn scales extraordinarily well, and Lilia is probably one of the best scaling junglers in the game. And so there's a Renekton there, and we all know how we feel about Renekton. However, it doesn't matter. He's actually used as a legitimate bridge in this game because he's just pumping up Kanavi. He's just trying to get him as much gold as possible, and we'll see whether that is going to be what happens. Rogue, I don't mind the team comp as far as their engage options. You know, they've got Ash Arrows, they've got rocket grabs like you were talking about. They do have ways to get things going on, but you mix the Zoe in, and remember, guys, this is Yagao on the Zoe. He didn't lose on this champion during the summer regular season. He was on a 16 KDA or something like that. Also played a bunch of games of the champion in the playoffs. Haven't seen too much of her so far here at Worlds, but looking forward to seeing what Yagao can do because we know what a powerhouse he can be on his day.
Yeah, and I just feel like Atlas, today is the day. Last night I slept great. Renekton,
yeah,
winless at Worlds, but today.
Well, we have to remember, you're saying winless at Worlds. That's not entirely true because play-ins exist,
true,
and Longxing is... Yeah. He demonstrated that sometimes Renekton analysis doesn't matter because Chinese Renekton is more like Godzilla. Yes, we know that Godzilla originated in Japan, but I think the Chinese remake is coming out a little bit better here at Worlds, especially when you look at those play-ins. That was really part of the turnaround for LGD as well. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing what it can do in the hands of Zoom, especially when he's got Kanavi there to beef up on the way.
And this is such an important match for Rogue because this is pretty much the team for them to beat if they want to advance out of this group, because Damwon is looking untouchable. It does not seem like anyone is going to contest them for first inside of the group. So this is really, really important for Rogue here.
And this is also one of those groups that you look at, and it could just be the three-way ties on 2-4. You know, this is one of those groups where, with Damwon being so incredibly impressive, if they just go 6-0, then that second spot is definitely very up for grabs. And a lot of people have already said that Rogue did make Damwon work for it, maybe a little bit more than JDG did. I think, you know, maybe PSG almost did a better job than JDG as well. So this is going to tell us a lot. And here we are onto the Rift.